Joining us tonight to break down the list of big names and superstars is PBA Rush anchor Mikee Reyes. Mr. Shoot First, welcome to the game. And this is gonna be your first time talking about Gilas on air. Pero of course, Mikee is no stranger naman.
Mahirap kasi yung mga topic na to eh. Kaya hindi ko alam matakay ng dito eh.
But Mikee is no stranger because he's covered these guys back in college and recently syempre sa PBA.
Mikee likes the hard shots also. He will take the difficult shots no matter how covered he is. Pero ito, Mikee, let's start off first with, I think, the easiest one. The easiest one muna. I think it was a no-brainer na kailangan kasama si Fajardo. And of course, the big question is, what can he bring right now to the international stage, given what he is?
He obviously can bring something or things that other players cannot. Because you cannot forget, even prior to the injury, he was already a 6-time MVP. Now, he's BPC. He's back on that mountain of all Filipino players. He's the GOAT of the PBA. Yes, some people are worried about being a liability on defense. But at the end of the day, if you have someone like Junmar who can really change the complexion of a game, yan yung mga bagay na itatago mo yung weakness niya. You will find ways to hide his weakness rather than hindi mo gagamitin just because medyo magiging liability siya. So, at the end of the day, you have to put someone like Junmar Fajardo in that team.
Right. Lipat tayo ngayon sa Guardia naman, of course. Scotty Thompson, we saw him play in the previous window, Mikee. How did you like his performance in pag-gel niya dun sa mga kasama niya in the previous pool?
Well, someone like Scotty Thompson, I believe, is one of the most low-maintenance players in the league. Any position you put him in, he can do a lot of things. He's not someone who... He's not a specialist.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, you don't really need to put him in a position na, okay, aalagaan natin to. You just put him in, whatever you need is done, he will get it done. So, with Scotty Thompson, I believe, coming back to the Gilas program and then competing in the last one, I believe nabalik na niya yung kumpiyansa niya on the international level. And he also showed glimpses that he can compete on the international level.
Grabe din eh. Because when he's in Barangay Ginebra, he is an MVP caliber player. Pero kapag nasa Gilas Pilipinas siya, iba yung role niya eh. And it looks like he's accepting that to a whole new level and being that role player that he's expected to be para sa Gilas. But of course, moving on to another guy that we didn't see in the last window because he was in San Miguel, CJ Perez. We saw what he did in 2019 wherein he was easily the brightest spot alongside Robert Boli. Can we expect something similar for CJ Perez?
Well, obviously, the talent is there. The skills are there. The energy, the youth, and also yung intensity ni CJ on both ends of the floor. But I believe you compare 2019 CJ to 2022 CJ. Now he is a champion. Now he is a veteran. He will only be better now. I believe, hindi lang naman nagilas yan nung huli because nag-final sila. But he was for sure a shoe-in in that team.
Right. Silipin natin yung iba pang guys na na-mention in the pool, Pao. Mikee, these 4 guys, some of them have played in the previous window and yung iba naman nasa PBA finals during this time. Isa-isahin na siguro natin na simulan natin doon sa mga wala in that last window. Let's go to Arvind Tolentino.
Yeah, Arvind's the interesting one kasi siya yung a lot of people are being like, really, Arvind? So what can he bring?
Well, he's gonna stand in the corner, be ready to fire. That's what he can bring. And also, he has the height to be a shooter on the international level. Because it's one thing to be able to shoot on the international level. It's another thing not to be a mismatch on the other side of the floor. He may not be the best defender, pero height-wise, we need those kinds of players na matangkad, they can shoot over defenses, and of course, that confidence that Arvind Tolentino brings.
Parang may bagka-prototype, di ba? Siyempre, nag-work dati yung kila Larry Fonasher, you had gunners like Jeff Chan, and now, we have one in Arvind Tolentino. How about the bigs, the combination of Japet Aguilar and Poy Era?
Japet Aguilar may be the best defensive big in the league.
Yeah.
So, one way to hide the liability na baka mangyari kay Junmar on the defensive end is to pair him up with an athletic forward who is used to, helping out, tutulong, di ba? So with Japet Aguilar, I think one of the shoe-ins again in the Gilas program. So Japet Aguilar, especially on the defensive end, malaki ang mabibigay ni Jap. Because if he can take away the pressure of playing like great defense from Junmar, then both of them can be effective alongside each other.
And of course, Poy Eraman are defensive big and then yung mindset, no? And of course, the last one that we're going to discuss here is RR Pogoy. And si RR has a reputation in the international stage na siya si Pogdonovic. Kung may Gilas game, may RR Pogdonovic tayo. So when you talk about Pogoy, parang hindi nawawala yung scoring niya when he goes to the international stage.
Especially after this recent finals, where I believe that if they won the chip, he would have been finals MVP. Only if, of course, Jason Castro. Siyempre, ang ganda rin nung nilaro ni Jason in Game 7. But I believe he was the most consistent scorer player for TNT in that final series. So I know the confidence will be there. And also, of course, playing under Coach Chot. Alam na niya yung role niya doon. And he's, of course, one of those guys na maasahan.
So that
But
was-
the biggest question is, wala pa si Calvin?
So that was the first of the many shots of Mikee Reyes here on our show, and I want to answer that question very soon. Pero we're out of time. Ano magagawa natin?
Next time,
We're
meron
out
tayong,
of time.
may part 2 pa
Oo.
dapat, di ba? Pag nasama na yung next part of the pool.
Yes, absolutely. Mikey, maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Mike.